Hello folks, Frankie Day here on YouTube. Okay fellas, it's just about midnight. It's Thursday, and tonight's video is going to be a waffle, what's on the bench, and two more for the stash pile. Incidentally fellas, tomorrow I was in a video number 3 on my USS Alabama, and I've been pretty much working on her as much as I can between that and working. And so please stay tuned for that, fellas. I have one for you tomorrow, and I gotta start making some. I gotta start commenting back to you guys out there, commenting on my videos. I haven't done it lately because I've been too busy. It's not that I want to try to ignore you fellas though, but I'll get back on it. And so anyway, folks, before we get started, there's a little announcement I'd like to make right now, real quick. It's good for me and it's good for you. And this Sunday is going to be about my last day for me working on my job. I'm retiring. I'm going to go ahead and draw my Social Security, and also draw my naval pension. And between both payrolls going in back to back, you know, that'll I'll be in pretty good shape. And being 74 years old, fellas, you know, it's just and working 7 days a week is pretty unhealthy for a man my age. And keeps you away from my model bench, keeps you away from my wonderful wife, and she needs to be here at the house for her needs and things. So this is my second retirement for me, and so I'll be spending more time on the model bench. I'll be at the home, and my boss says, Frank, if you need any extra money, you need anything, come back to work. You work a little bit here or there. It's your pace, whatever you want to do, and just I'll pay a cash under the table. I says, well, let me think about it, but I want to rest for a while. I get tired. Okay, guys, enough of that, fellas. Let's get back to the business now. Let's get back to these models here. Okay, guys. What's on the bench is I'm going to be building this. I'll probably be starting on this after I finish up the Alabama. So I'll get started on that, because I want to spend some time on this too. So what I'll be doing is, when I get retired, I'll probably work on 3 or 4 models at a time. So I'll probably, at daytime, I'll be working on the finish uppers that need to be finished, and nighttime, in the evenings, I can pay special attention on new builds. So I'm pretty well busy. I got a big stash pile behind me back there, and believe you me, it's enough there to last me at least 2 lifetimes. So I'm gonna try to get my money's worth out of it. Okay, guys, I want to start this right after I finish up the Alabama. And this right here is no stranger to us old school fellas, and all you new school guys out there, you probably never seen it before. This is a very special, unique kit. I've had this kit since 1960. This is a 1/32 scale Grumman Gulfhawk 2. Now, I was on eBay the other day, fellas, and they got a whole bunch of these floating around. And I've been kind of pondering about put a couple of bids on a couple of them. I can keep in my stash, you know, because like I say, fellas, I had this for many years, just never got building to it, and so now's the time, and it'd be a unique and a whole different build altogether, and it's gonna be a very interesting build. Anyway, fellas, this aircraft here has a lot of significance. Right now, if there's anybody went to the National Space Museum in Washington, D.C., which is formerly used to be the Smithsonian Institution, and they got this here aircraft inside the Smithsonian Institute. Now, it's in a flying configuration with landing gear retracted inside the fuselage. Now, I can remember back in 1947, guys, I was 7 years old, and my father, he was stationed in Norfolk, Virginia, and we went there to the Smithsonian Institute, and at that time, fellas, 1947 up to the 1950s, the Smithsonian Institution was no more bigger than a big oversized tobacco barn, and they had a lot of artifacts and a lot of exhibits in there for people to view, and this was one of them. This was owned by the Gulf Oil Company, but this aircraft was piloted by the late great Alfred Williams. He was a Marine pilot, flew back in World War II. He's a very outstanding pilot, and he was great for his day. And so what they did with this aircraft right here is that they used this for exhibition during air shows. Because back in the 1940s, even after the war, air shows were a must. I mean, they took up back in the 1930s, the golden age of aviation, when racing and aerobatic flying was very popular then. So using this here aircraft right here, he more or less demonstrated those techniques used at that time. So by 1947, this aircraft right here was submitted to the Smithsonian Institute. It was on the ground like this right here. You can walk around. Matter of fact, I walked around and touched the prop a couple times. I looked up through the wheel wells and seen the chain inside there, how the landing gear. Because I was always fascinated. How does the landing gear fold this thing? So when I was 7 years old, I was knee high to a grasshopper, and I could actually stick my head right through the main wheel well, and you can see the firewall back there, right behind the engine firewall. There's a chain right there. There's a mechanism. There's a chain. And that chain right there is probably ran by a shaft. It's a camshaft with a worm gear that hooks up inside the fuselage, and it has a handle on there. And you crank that thing 29 times and it brings up the landing gear. I learned that when I was 7 years old. That was the most greatest thing I've ever learned in my life. So this kit here, fellas, is the gimmick kit. This thing does everything but fly. And a special feature right here, as you can see, I'll zoom a little closer here, guys, is the unique retracting landing gear system that this thing had. You take my propeller, you turn it around, you turn it, and the landing gear folds inside the fuselage. You can see the most beautiful picture of the Gulfhawk sitting there on the tarmac out there without Williams leaning on it. And it's a gimmick model, folks. You twist it the other way, it brings up the landing gear, push the prop in, and it spins freely. So this is a gimmick model, and I will preserve these features and show them to you fellows, demonstrate them as this model is finished. And I had it for many years, fellas. It's getting pretty old, as you can tell. And I think a lot of models has crushed it throughout the years. It's sitting in my stash, but it's molded in very, very bright orange plastic. And the decals are, the instructions are pretty noteworthy for the day. That tells you how the kit goes together. It's nothing but old school building, guys. This stuff that we used to do when we were young. It's old school goats. You see the exploded views of the aircraft how it's done, and you can see the finished product when it's finished right there. It tells you how to paint it and stuff. And it just has a lot of detail there. You can see the construction of the landing gear. All actual photos of the construction, plus literature that tells you how to do it. Now, guys, that's a bonus right there. You don't see that nowadays in instruction anymore. Instructions nowadays in today's models, fellas, no more than just icons and numerals and everything else goes with it. Make things simple. Instead of writing the stuff, we'll just make a sketches and go by the symbols. Here's the decals come. These decals are pretty mint shape. I take care of my stuff, fellas. All these years I've had this thing, this decal sheet still has this luster. And I have no problem sliding those decals on the wings. And when you keep your models in a dry place with no humidity, it preserves them for a long, long time. If you live in a home or live in an area, fellas, that has a lot of humidity, a lot of your instructions and plans and decals and everything, they'll wither away and you can't use them. And okay, fellas, right here is the fuselage right here. Very bright plastic, bright orange, and it goes together quite well, pretty easy. It's a good kit for its day, fellas. This thing is a dinosaur. It's prehistoric, but even with something that's 60 years old, this thing is this thing is state of the art for the time. I want to tell you one thing, fellas. This model here, no model at that time could beat this thing. This thing was the most popular model ever introduced into the modeling community, and it was a must for everybody. Then the good folks at Monogram was telling the idea, well, they like the Gulfhawk. Let's bring out this military cousin, the F3. Well, this is what this aircraft was, fellas. This was nothing but a modified F3, the G-22 model. And for its aerobatic routine, the normal wingspan of an F3F is 32 feet. This thing was clipped down to 28 feet. The wings were clipped so it could have aerobatics like that of a clipped wing cub. So it's less stress on the wings, on the wing loading. Okay, fellas, that's going to be that. That's going to be an interesting build. So I'll get started on that. I get the Big A, the USS Alabama underway, and get it all finally done, because I want to focus all my time on this. And when I get done with the Alabama, I'm going to turn to this on this Grumman Gulfhawk. Okay, guys, I went down to Smitty's hobby shop today. I ventured around there and see what he had for the new year. Well, to my surprise, when I came in, he goes, "Frank, I made your day today." And says my distributor came in and brought me a whole shitload of kits. New kits, up-to-date kits, and also rebox kits. Well, when I walked in there today, he didn't have to say too much about what was available, what he had coming in today. It stuck out like a throbbing sore thumb. Okay, fellas, right here, this is an Airfix 172 scale. This is a new kit. This kit is popular. As a matter of fact, Russ down there at the Smitty's hobby shop, which I go to all the time, and he said, "Frank, I got 10 of these. Out between 1 and 10, you were the 10th one, about the last one." So I was there at the right place at the right time. So I was very, very fortunate to get this. Okay, guys, so this is the Shack, the flying spark plug. This is the Mark II model. You guys have probably seen it on the kit. I forget the name of the YouTube show. It's Kit something, Kit Bashers or something. They had an inbox review. No, I retract that statement, fellas. It was fine. It was fine scale. They had this on there, and what they did, they had it broken down with the sprues and everything. This is a beautiful kit, guys. This is the Mark II model, not like that of the Frog with the nose wheel, or the Mark III with the nose wheel. This is the tail dragger. And I want to tell you something, fellas. This is one hell of a kit. And I retails $49.95, and it was marked down, reduced to $42.39. And he let me have it for 35 bucks. So I couldn't complain about that, guys. I was very happy. So this is one of my retirement stashes coming in. I'll put back in the pile. Once I get on this kit, fellas, I'll make an inbox review. I'll be a real good in-depth inbox review. I'll do it right. And so with me retiring from my job, I'll be able to spend more time on my studio and start learning how to edit my movies, make it more professional like you great fellas are. Because right now my videos are about as bland as oatmeal. And being an old fart in the wind like myself, you know what I mean? It's all this technology is kind of superseding me, so I got to get in there. And I will learn. And so this is one hell of an airplane, fellas. This is the 1/72 scale Mark II Shackleton. The paint schedule is all gold gray and white, vice versa. The whole thing can be entire gold gray with a white upper plane, sheet line, and the turret's optional. The radome over here, the MAD gear right here is I figured it'd be retractable, but it's not. It's a two-place option. You either have it retracted or extended. So I'm gonna have this thing on the ground. So that thing will get in the way of the tail wheel if it's extended. So it's gonna be retracted. So that my mind's made up there. Okay, fellas, I'll make an inbox review of this when I get started on it. So this is going down the road sooner than I think it's going to be. Okay, let me put the shack over here. And like I say, fellas, this kit here is miles and miles and then some better than the late great Frog kit. And the Frog kit, that was the only Shackleton at the time that was ever produced in plastic and model form. And that's all we had back in those days. And so right now the new millennium has produced us with a wonderful kit of the Shackleton. And the good folks of Airfix are doing a very, very wonderful job. And they need to have a nice pat on the back and 2 thumbs up and a hearty well done for producing such great kits. And they're starting to listen to us modelers. They know exactly what we want. And we're getting exactly what they're going to produce, and we enjoy it. Other than that, it's a great kit, so get one at your nearest hobby dealer. If you got one in your stash, you know what Frankie Dave's talking about. Okay, boys, this is kit number 2 for the stash pile. This right here is no stranger. It's been in a Hasegawa model catalog since 1973 when the kit first came out. It's re-released by Hasegawa. This kit right here is the 1/72nd scale B-47E Stratojet. This is a beautiful airplane, fellas. A very beautiful airplane. This aircraft was obsolete before its time. And I believe that this airplane really could have done something during the post-wars. But back in those days, we were into the Cold War, and we're experimenting with aircraft. And a lot of air forces, they wasted a lot of their good aircraft just by toying around with ideas. So the Stratojet stayed with SAC for many years and was tired probably in the late 1950s. And it was equipped to carry an atomic bomb, conventional weaponry all together. And it's a very, very graceful airplane it is. And really it's not that expensive, folks. They retail about $30. That's how much they cost. So I figure a kit like this, especially as Hasegawa, it probably cost you $100. Because they have a P3 Orion that's 1/72nd scale. That came out back in the mid-1970s. And it retails for $90. So when I saw this, I was, oh boy, that's a little bit too stiff, $90. And so this one here is just right for what I got it for. So it's a brand new kit, guys. It's I'll do an inbox review of this. This is 1/72nd scale, a typical Hasegawa kit. And I'm quite fond of Hasegawa. They were the first Oriental companies that ever emerged in the United States of America back in the very, very early 1970s. And they came out with tooling that was never seen here in America. And the price back then wasn't really no more than that of the conventional Airfix, Waffle and Monogram kits, or Aurora kits that were available. And Hasegawa, their tooling back in those days was very superb. They, especially the 1/32nd scale line, the most finest high fidelity models they ever made was the 2 1/32nd scale kits, the PT the PT 17, well, I forget what it is. It's the P6E. I'm sorry, fellas. I have my mind back in the Stearman. No, it was the P6E. It was the Boeing P6E, and his Navy brother was the F4B. The early biplanes, all metal construction, longerons, all the fuselage, all completely aluminum, alloy aluminum, monoculed, and it's corrugated more or less. And the wings were actually wood and canvas covered and doped. Those two kits were the most highly detailed, beautiful kits ever produced. Even today's standards, they still stand up quite well. Hasegawa put out a lot of good kits back in those days, fellas. It was the cat's meow to us modelers back then. And I ran into them by accident one time at FW Woolworths, used to be an old department store. I ran into a slew of them down there one time, and they're very, very, very admirable kits to have. Okay, fellas, that completes the video for tonight. So tomorrow, please stay tuned for video number 3 of my US